The powerful New York billionaire walked into his luxury home,
I waited for you again tonight.
Work was long.
expecting silence. But instead,
We don't talk anymore.
You're overthinking.
found delivery trucks lining his driveway, and the wife he ignored had quietly built an empire while his own world
You see me
was
better than anyone.
collapsing. Just weeks earlier, he had replaced her with attention from younger women, secret meetings, and late-night lies, never realizing the woman waiting at home was slowly becoming stronger than him. And when his billion-dollar business suddenly crashed overnight, betrayed by the very people he trusted, the only person capable of saving him was the wife he had treated like she was invisible. What would you do if the person who built your life with you suddenly treated you like you did not exist? And what if the woman he ignored quietly became more powerful than he ever imagined? Before we begin, tell me in the comments, have you ever felt invisible in a relationship? Roland Mbappe was a name people spoke with respect. He owned luxury hotels in New York, Paris, and parts of Europe. He had private investors, media interviews, and exclusive invitations to elite events. When he entered a room, people stood up. When he spoke, people listened. From the outside, his life looked perfect: expensive suits, private jets, powerful connections. But inside his home, something very different was happening, something no one could see. Every night, Amara waited for him. She prepared dinner carefully. She arranged the table beautifully, even when she knew he might not come. The food often became cold. Sometimes he arrived late and ignored it. Other nights he did not come home at all. Amara used to smile when he walked through the door. Now she only watched silently. Roland had changed. He no longer asked about her day. He no longer laughed with her. He spoke to her like she was just another employee, or worse, like she was nothing. And slowly, the house that once felt warm began to feel empty. Roland had started spending more time with their young nanny. She laughed at all his jokes. She told him he was brilliant. She admired everything he said. And Roland liked that feeling. It made him feel young, important, powerful. He also grew close to a female business partner who constantly praised his leadership. Late meetings became normal. Secret calls became frequent. Locked doors, whispered conversations. Amara noticed everything, but she did not ask questions, not yet. One afternoon, Amara decided to surprise Roland. She dressed simply but beautifully. She carried his favorite dessert. She wanted to remind him of who they used to be. When she arrived at his office, the receptionist smiled nervously. "Mr. Mbappe is busy," she said. But Amara walked toward his office anyway, and then she saw it, through the glass. Roland holding another woman closely, not a business handshake, not professional, something personal, something intimate. Time stopped. Her heart broke. But she did not scream. She did not cry. She simply turned around and walked away. And that was the moment something inside her changed forever. From that day, Amara stopped asking for attention. She stopped waiting at the door. She stopped begging for love. Instead, she became quiet, focused, observant. What Roland did not know was that years ago, before marriage, Amara studied business in Switzerland. She was talented, ambitious, but she had sacrificed her dreams to support his growing empire. Now, slowly, she opened her laptop again, late at night, while Roland slept or stayed out. She began building a small online fashion business, simple designs, elegant ideas, careful planning. No one noticed, especially Roland. Meanwhile, Roland's life looked louder than ever. He attended luxury events. He posted photos with powerful people. He enjoyed attention from women who admired his wealth. But something strange began happening. Deals became more complicated. Partners demanded more control. Investors asked difficult questions. And the female business partner he trusted most started pushing him into risky decisions. Still, Roland believed he was unstoppable. After all, he was Roland Mbappe, the billionaire. Do you think success can make someone blind to what truly matters? Tell me honestly in the comments, because Roland was about to learn this lesson in a way he never expected. One morning, Roland received a call that changed everything. His biggest hotel deal, a massive expansion project, had collapsed. Contracts disappeared, funding stopped, investors withdrew. And rumors started spreading that Roland had made serious mistakes. He was shocked, confused, angry. He called his business partner. No answer. He called again. Nothing. Within days, she vanished completely, and worse. Documents surfaced suggesting Roland was responsible for financial problems he did not fully understand. Was he betrayed? Or had he ignored warning signs for too long? While Roland's world shook, something surprising happened at home. Delivery trucks began arriving daily. Boxes, packages, fabric shipments, equipment. Drivers greeted Amara by name. Phones rang constantly. Customers praised her designs. Her online fashion business was growing faster than she imagined. Money flowed in quietly, without noise, without drama, without ego. The same house that once felt empty now felt alive again, but not because of Roland. The nanny stopped coming. She sent a short message. I found another opportunity. No goodbye, no explanation. The admiration disappeared overnight. Roland suddenly felt alone. People who once surrounded him began distancing themselves. The media asked difficult questions. Investors avoided him. And for the first time in years, he came home early. He sat quietly at the dinner table, watching Amara work on her laptop. He noticed her confidence, her calm energy, her focus. Something about her felt different, stronger, independent, and suddenly unfamiliar. One night, Roland finally spoke. His voice was softer than before. How did you do this? He asked, looking at the delivery boxes around the house. Amara closed her laptop slowly. The same way you did, she said calmly. I worked. Her words were simple, but they hit him harder than any insult. For the first time, Roland saw the woman he had ignored, not as someone weak, not as someone waiting, but as someone powerful, someone who had grown while he was distracted. And at that moment, Roland began to realize something terrifying. Maybe he was not losing everything because of bad luck. Maybe he had been blind to loyalty, blind to love, blind to the one person who never stopped believing in him. But Roland did not yet know the full truth, because the betrayal against him was deeper than he imagined, and someone close to him was hiding a secret that could destroy everything. If you think Roland deserves a second chance, comment redemption. If you think Amara should never trust him again, comment move on. And subscribe now, because a hidden past from Switzerland will change the power balance. The same way you did, I worked. Amara's words stayed inside Roland's mind long after she said them. He sat quietly at the table while she returned to her laptop. For years, and he believed he was the only powerful one in the house, the provider, the builder, the strong one. Now he felt small, confused, almost like a stranger inside his own home. Outside, New York was loud and alive, cars moving, lights shining, people chasing dreams. But inside his chest, something heavy was growing. Fear. That night, Roland could not sleep. He walked through the large house slowly. He noticed things he had ignored before: sketches on Amara's desk, fabric samples, orders printed neatly, a board filled with ideas and timelines. She had built a real business, not a hobby, not something small, something serious. And she did it without asking him for money, without asking for permission, without complaining. Roland felt a strange mix of pride and shame. "How did I not see this?" he whispered. "Have you ever realized too late that someone you loved was stronger than you thought? Sometimes we only see value when we are about to lose it." And Roland was standing very close to that moment. The next morning, Roland entered his office and felt the tension immediately. Employees stopped talking when he walked by. Some avoided eye contact, others looked worried. His assistant rushed toward him. "Mr. Mbappe, there is a problem." Legal letters covered his desk. Investors demanded explanations. One document accused him of financial manipulation. His hands froze. "This is impossible," he said. But someone had signed deals using his authority, and the person responsible had disappeared. His female business partner, the same woman he trusted, the same woman who encouraged risky expansion, the same woman who told him he was brilliant. Now she was gone, and he was left holding the consequences. News articles started appearing online. "Billionaire investor under investigation." "Roland Mbappe faces corporate collapse." Phones stopped ringing with opportunities. Instead, lawyers called, banks called. Reporters waited outside. For the first time in years, Roland felt powerless. Back at home, Amara's world was moving in the opposite direction. Her online fashion brand was trending. Influencers posted her designs. Customers loved her story. Women wrote messages thanking her for creating clothing that made them feel confident. She answered every message personally. She stayed humble, focused, calm, even when success came quickly. But inside her heart, there was still pain. She remembered standing outside Roland's office that day, seeing him with another woman. That image never left her, and now, watching him struggle, she felt something complicated. Not happiness, not revenge, just distance. One afternoon, a black car stopped outside their home. A woman stepped out, elegant, confident, older. She introduced herself as Sophia Laurent. She said she knew Amara from Switzerland. Amara's eyes widened. "From business school?" she asked. Sophia smiled. "Yes, and from a project you never finished." Roland watched quietly from the stairs. He had never heard this name before. Never heard about this part of Amara's life. What else didn't he know? Later that evening, Roland listened as they spoke in the living room. Sophia reminded Amara about a business concept they once planned together, a luxury fashion network connecting European designers with American markets. "You left because of love," Sophia said gently. "You chose marriage instead." Roland felt uncomfortable hearing that. Amara sacrificed her dreams. For him, he suddenly saw the past differently. While he was building his empire, she was quietly giving up her own. After Sophia left, Roland approached Amara carefully. "You never told me about Switzerland," he said. Amara paused. "You never asked," she replied softly. Her voice was calm, not angry, and that hurt him even more, because calm meant distance. Days passed. Roland tried to fix his business problems, but everything felt harder. Partners demanded proof. Lawyers needed evidence. Money flowed out instead of in. At night, he came home earlier. Sometimes he sat near Amara just to feel less alone. But they did not speak much. There was too much history between them, too many unspoken words. One evening, Roland received an anonymous message, a simple file. Inside were emails, secret conversations, proof that his business partner had been planning something for months. She had built connections with competitors. She had slowly shifted control away from him. She used his trust against him. Roland felt sick. He remembered every compliment she gave him, every smile, every moment he believed she was loyal. And suddenly he realized, while he was chasing admiration, someone else was quietly destroying him. Do you think betrayal hurts more when it comes from someone you trust or someone you love? Because Roland was now facing both corporate betrayal and emotional distance from his wife. That night, something unusual happened. Amara sat beside him voluntarily. She looked at the legal documents. She studied the contracts carefully. Her eyes moved quickly, professional, focused. After a long silence, she spoke. "You missed something," she said. Roland looked surprised. "What?" She pointed at a clause hidden deep in the agreement, a technical detail, a small line that could change everything. Roland's heart began to race. "Are you saying I still have control?" Amara nodded slowly. "If you act fast." For the first time in months, hope returned to his eyes. But something else also returned, respect. Roland looked at her differently now, not as the quiet wife waiting at home, but as a partner, an equal, maybe even stronger than him. And deep inside, he began asking himself a painful question. Had he destroyed the only relationship that could save him? But Roland did not know one dangerous truth yet. Someone inside his company was still working against him. And the next betrayal would come from a place he never expected. If you are still watching, comment strength. If you believe Amara is becoming unstoppable, subscribe now. Because a hidden secret about Amara's real influence will change everything. Roland sat at the dining table, staring at the contract Amara had just reviewed. "You missed something," she had said calmly. He still could not believe it. For months his legal team and executives had looked at those documents, yet none of them saw what she saw. His wife, the woman he ignored, had found the hidden key. A clause buried deep in the agreement gave him one final chance to regain control of the company. Roland felt two strong emotions at the same time, hope and regret. Hope because he might save his business. Regret because he had almost lost the only person who truly stood beside him. The next morning, Roland and his lawyers moved quickly. They contacted investors. They presented new evidence. They activated the hidden clause. But something unexpected happened. Someone inside the company leaked information to the press again. Headlines appeared within hours. Roland Mbappe attempts desperate legal move. The pressure increased. Phones rang nonstop. Investors became nervous. Roland realized one terrifying truth. There was still a traitor inside his own organization. That night, Roland came home exhausted. He found Amara working quietly. The house felt different now. Not cold, not empty, but serious. He stood beside her for a long moment before speaking. "I was wrong," he said softly. Amara did not look up immediately. Wrong about what? About ignoring her? About betraying her emotionally? About choosing admiration from strangers instead of loyalty from home? Finally, she turned toward him. "I know," she said simply. Her calm answer surprised him. There was no anger, no shouting, just honesty. and that honesty felt heavier than any argument. Is silence sometimes louder than words? Because Amara's silence forced Roland to face himself in a way no one else ever had. 2 days later, Roland discovered the truth. His longtime financial director, a man who worked with him for nearly 10 years, had secretly supported the betrayal. He had helped Roland's business partner manipulate contracts. Why? Because he believed Roland had become arrogant and careless, because he thought the company needed new leadership. Roland felt betrayed deeply, not just professionally, but personally. This was someone he trusted, someone he considered family, and yet, maybe he had given them reasons to lose faith. The legal fight began quickly. Lawyers argued aggressively. Evidence surfaced, emails, recordings, secret agreements. Roland sat quietly, listening to everything. He saw clearly how his own decisions opened doors for betrayal. He trusted praise too easily. He ignored warnings. He chased ego instead of wisdom. Meanwhile, Amara attended the hearings quietly. She never tried to control the situation. She only observed, strong, calm, present. During one important hearing, Amara noticed another mistake in the opposition's argument. She leaned toward Roland and whispered something. He passed the message to his lawyer. Within minutes, the lawyer used that detail to challenge the opposing side. The room changed. The judge paid attention. The opposing lawyer became nervous, and slowly Roland's position became stronger. For the first time since the crisis began, people started believing he might win. Roland looked at Amara differently again, not just as support, but as a true partner, someone he should have valued from the beginning. That evening, Roland finally broke down emotionally. He sat in the living room and said words he never thought he would say. "I was lonely, even when I had everything." Amara listened quietly. "I thought admiration meant love," he continued. "I thought success meant I could not be wrong." He paused. "But I hurt you, and I almost destroyed us." Amara's eyes softened slightly. She had waited years to hear honesty like this, but healing takes time. Weeks later, the court announced its decision. Roland was cleared of major accusations. The hidden clause saved his control of the company. The financial director and former business partner faced legal consequences for their actions. The media headlines changed. Billionaire fights back after corporate betrayal. Roland's reputation slowly began recovering, but something surprising happened next. He made a decision no one expected. He stepped down as CEO. Investors were shocked. Friends were confused. Reporters demanded explanations. But Roland knew why. He no longer wanted power without purpose. He wanted balance. He wanted to rebuild his life differently. One evening, Roland invited Amara to dinner. Not a luxury restaurant, just a quiet place near the river. Simple, peaceful. "I don't want to go back to who I was," he said. Amara listened carefully. "I want us to rebuild. Slowly, if you allow it." He did not demand forgiveness. He did not promise perfection. He only asked for a chance. Amara thought for a long moment. "You cannot erase the past," she said. "I know," he replied, "but I can change the future." For the first time in a long time, she smiled slightly. Not full forgiveness, but the beginning of something new. Months passed. Roland became a strategic advisor instead of CEO. He worked fewer hours. He focused on meaningful projects. Amara's fashion business continued growing rapidly. She hired employees, opened a small design studio, built her own brand identity, and this time she did not hide her success. Roland supported her proudly, Not as a superior, but as an equal. They attended events together again. But now Roland listened more than he spoke, and people noticed the change. One quiet morning, Roland watched Amara speaking to her team confidently. He realized something powerful. Money builds houses, but respect builds homes. Admiration from strangers fades quickly, but loyalty from a partner lasts longer than success. And for the first time, Roland felt truly rich, not because of wealth, but because he finally understood love. Moral lessons from this story. 1. Success without respect destroys relationships. Money and power cannot replace kindness and appreciation at home. 2. Never underestimate the quiet strength of someone who supports you. People who seem silent may be growing stronger every day. 3. Praise from outsiders can be dangerous when it feeds ego. Real loyalty often speaks softly, not loudly. 4. Betrayal often enters through blind trust and arrogance. Listening and humility protect both business and relationships. 5. Redemption begins with honest self-reflection. True change happens when someone accepts their mistakes without excuses. 6. Partnership means equality. The strongest relationships are built when both people grow and respect each other.